Hey everybody, Brian Boyle here, and welcome to episode 137 of The Mesh Tongue. Today is the smiling episode because what I've noticed is that in some of the videos I'm looking down and my face just happens to be where it captures it. So it's not that I'm not happy or I'm looking down, so I'm deep in thought. The video happens to capture that. I don't know. It just looks kind of weird as I'm looking through my Instagram post or I'm looking through the YouTube channel. It seems like there are just some times when I'll be deep in thought. So today I'm just gonna smile. Hopefully it's contagious, and hopefully you will continue on with your smile as well. Pass it along. It's free. But today I want to talk to you about. Well, before I get to that. Hey, that's the way it is. It's a show. It's live, not really, but we only do one take. Hey, if you've got questions and comments, send those to me. Brian, Brian at company5k.com. That's the number 5k as in kite.com, and I'll be happy to get those to you. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. There you go. And today I want to talk to you about pool running. Now, I know in episode 101 I talked to you about unweighted running, and I mentioned the pool a little bit, but I didn't get into specifics with the pool. I talked about some buoyancy, and I talked about some other things, but there are some things that you'll want to worry about, and worry is probably too goofy of a word, but things you'll want to think about when you're picking a pool, or if you're getting into the pool, how, why, and what you'd want to do. So with the pool, I would say if you're going to get into the pool running, the deeper you go, the more buoyant you are. So shoulder level and higher. So if the pool, say the pool goes to 5 feet and you happen to be 6'5", okay, well you're not going to be able to get to shoulder level. So you'd want to go into a deeper end of a diving well, that sort of thing. So you'd want to make sure that your pool is deep enough for you to get into in order to provide the proper buoyancy. Makes it really difficult to run and be buoyant if your shoulders or mid chest level and above are above water. So you've got to be able to get deep enough where you're kind of treading water. Now, with that being said, if you can do one of two things, I would recommend a floaty belt. They make these nice kind of styrofoam belts that clip together. It keeps you buoyant at the waist, keeps you upright. You could use kind of a pool noodle, but I don't recommend that just because it's going to be underneath your arms and you're not going to be able to get the normal running pattern. You can use flippers. Again, I don't necessarily recommend those because of the fact that you're going to get this kicking motion. You're going to have the toes down. It really doesn't equate to running on land. So depending on what you're using it for. Also, if you have a lower extremity injury, sometimes the floaties may exacerbate that or cause an additional pain. And so what you want to do is watch out with that. So the aquatic belt, if you have it, if you go to a pool, quite oftentimes now the pools have those belts, and so that you can use those. And when you would get in the pool, quite honestly, you can go 5 to 7 days a week. So if you do have an injury and you're looking to get back to running, 5 to 7 days a week, I wouldn't go more than half hour to an hour, especially if you're not used to being in the pool. I would start off on the lower end of that 15 minutes to a half hour. As you progress, depending on the number of weeks that you're in, you can always build up to the 30 to 60 minute time frame. The other things, if you want to use this for some low impact days, you can certainly do that. So if you're normally training 5 to 6 days a week and you want to throw in some pool running, it's kind of base building. I wouldn't do this in the competition phase of running per se, unless you're kind of dealing with a nagging injury or something that's just you're like, gosh, I got to do something. Then you could throw that in just to, as an alternative, maybe 1 or 2 days a week. And so with that, you can then kind of just go between land running and then your pool running, and just see how that feels. You can do your intervals in the pool, so you could do a 30 seconds to a minute, as fast as you can, and then 30 seconds to a minute of slow or normal pace. Okay, you can do that repeated. Maybe you're going 15, 20 times of that. on that cycle. So you would warm up, do your intervals, and then cool down, and it's just kind of a normal pattern. The ideal is that, instead of just kind of treading water or treading water sideways, is that you're being able to run this way. So that's where the belts actually do work out pretty well, because of that fact that you can use that to keep you upright and floating. Most runners don't have a whole lot of body fat if you've been running for an extended period of time. If you're new to the sport, you may have some additional body fat, which will make you a little bit more buoyant. The folks that have 6, 7, 8% body fat, you're not gonna float. It just don't work. Which isn't a bad thing. Okay, there could be worse things, but you're gonna need something that's gonna keep you upright. What you want to be aware of is that if you get into a pool that's heated, it may feel good at first, but if after the first 15 minutes you're going to be sweating. So the pool should be like a normal lap pool. The water temperature that's a little bit cooler. Not that was just set for the Silver Sneakers group that was just in there with their arthritis, and they wanted it at this 85 degrees or above kind of therapeutic pool. You want this thing a little bit chillier, so that way when you start off, you get in, it's a little bit cooler. And then as you start sweating and running, you're not like dying. I can tell you that for a fact, that it is not fun to get into a workout, 15, 20 minutes, and you're like sweating while you're going to do that anyway, but when it's really hot, you're already like dripping sweat and you're like dying, and it's like, this is just miserable. So, make sure that if you're getting into the pool, that it's not a heated pool. That's not a great idea. Like I said, it may feel great at first, doesn't feel so good 10 to 15 minutes into it. I think that's about it. I think that, as far as the pool running, it can be a really good adjunct to just normal land running. If you're injured, the goal then is to get back. So you would then kind of, if you're going 5 to 7 days a week in the pool, then you would start spacing that out again now that you're going back to your land program, getting back into the additional running, and then you can always go back and forth as need be, as we said. But that's it. This is episode 137 of Mesh Tongue. Hopefully you find some value in this. If you did, share this with your friends, your family, your training partners. This was basically aquatic therapy, and why, how, what you'd want to do. If you have any specific questions, you can send them to me at Brian, Brian, at company5k.com, and I'll be happy to get back to you as quick as possible. Hey, whatever you do, don't go hurting yourself to come back, but I'll see you again tomorrow. All right, take care. Bye.